We are very happy to have Aya back home, and it's a great honor to have her in the Oval Office with her brother, and thank you very much.
After spending the last 3 years awaiting trial in a Cairo prison, Egypt-American aid worker Aya Hijazi returned home to the United States on April 20. One day later, the 30-year-old Hijazi met President Donald Trump, who reportedly helped orchestrate her release from the detention center in Egypt. The two sat together in front of reporters in the Oval Office on April 21, Hijazi with a mile-long grin that showed just how excited she was to be back on U.S. "We are very happy to have Aya back home," Trump said. "It's a great honor to have her in the Oval Office with her brother." Since she was arrested on child abuse charges in 2014, Hijazi became the face of Egypt's crackdown on civil society. 1. Hijazi and her husband were arrested in 2014, but the charges were said to be fabricated. Hijazi, her husband Mohammed Hassanin and 6 others were arrested in May 2014 after being accused of child abuse inside of the offices of the Belady Foundation for Street Children, an organization founded by Hijazi and her husband that operates in Egypt. After a police raid on May 1, 2014, Egyptian authorities arrested 8 people on charges of engaging in human trafficking, kidnapping, sexual exploitation using children in anti-government protests and operating an unlicensed organization. During the raid, which occurred without a legal warrant, police confiscated laptops and detained Hijazi, Hassanin and other employees under the child abuse charges. The arrest was part of a clampdown by the government on civil society. Prosecutors in the country didn't provide much evidence to support the claims, though, and many human rights workers and officials from the U.S. said they were blatantly false. In fact, the state's very own forensic report concluded that there was no evidence to suggest that any of the children in their care was sexually abused. 2. The trial for the charges had been delayed 7 times for no conclusive reason. Prosecutors in the case certainly dragged their feet when pursuing the charges against the defendants. Hijazi, her husband and the other co-defendants were held beyond the 2-year limit for pretrial and provisional detention under Egyptian law, Human Rights Watch wrote. A court in Cairo postponed its verdict March 23, giving no reason for doing so. Prior to that, hearings in the case had been delayed 7 times for various reasons, leaving the defendants in jail to wait. 3. The charges were dismissed after Trump met with Egypt's president. President Barack Obama's administration had previously tried to push Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to release the 8 defendants, but to no avail. When el-Sisi visited the White House in early April, Trump didn't publicly mention pressuring him for their release, but a senior White House official told Fox News ahead of the meeting that Hijazi's case would be one of the topics. Watch Trump meeting with el-Sisi in the Oval Office, with the Egyptian president sitting on the same chair that Hijazi would be welcomed to a few weeks later. Hijazi and the other 7 defendants in the case were acquitted on the charges April 16 and free to return home after being released from prison. 4. Hijazi grew up in Virginia and graduated from George Mason. Hijazi grew up in Falls Church, Virginia, a short 5 miles to Arlington. She attended George Mason University and graduated in 2009 with a degree in conflict resolution. After graduation, Hijazi, a dual citizen, returned to Egypt to start a career in solving conflict abroad. She worked in Egypt with her husband and established the Belady Foundation, which is Arabic for the phrase Our Nation. The organization was created in 2013 and was aimed at giving those children living on the streets in Egypt shelter and rehabilitation. A short 8 months after starting the organization, Hijazi and the other employees found themselves behind bars on the charges. 5. An online petition was created and had almost 50,000 signatures. When news of her arrest and impending trial surfaced, many were outraged and questioned the allegations. A petition was created on Change.org and it had 49,992 signatures as of her release back to the U.S.